welcome back to another edition of the Racing Mindcast, the show that helps athletes slow down their minds so they can race past their limits. I'm Chris Haig.
And I'm Morgan Bickenbach Davies.
And on today's episode of the Racing Mindcast, we're going to start up with a discussion about recovery days and off days and when you need to take them, how often you need to take them, and the importance of taking them and how to take them, I think is also another issue we need to talk about. From there, we are going to go on to the Buy It or Bonk section, part 2, and we have a very special treat, the Nugo, which is new to us, the Nugo chocolate chip cookie, which is their response to the
complete cookie.
Yeah, the Lenny and Larry complete cookie, which ain't so complete. Well, it's complete in a lot of things. We'll talk about that. And then we are going to finish up with the Year of Fear. So with no further ado, is that the expression?
I guess.
Let's just launch straight into it and talk about rest days and recovery days. Now, if you flash back to last episode, we talked about me coaching Morgan. And one thing that has come up in our coaching process is that I actually haven't given you a lot of off days.
No,
I
two.
Two off days that were impromptu because of stress and travel and a little bout of, I wouldn't say a full-blown cold, but you caught something first week back of school.
Yeah.
And that's when, which is only to be expected, especially when you're starting in a new environment and you're under a lot of petri dishes of undergraduate students who are nasty and have no hygienic and they sleep around and they like to pass germs to each other.
Judgy Wudgy wasn't there.
Yes. Anywho. But one of the people on your team, on your
My
sports team,
nutritionist,
your nutritionist brought up the fact, when are you taking off days?
Yeah.
And
She asked me, like, how many days a week are you working out? And I said, 7 usually. And she said, well, when are your rest days? And I said, well, as needed, really. Because as far as I knew, that was kind of the approach. But then I asked you about it. Like, how do you envision my rest days, I suppose? And what did you say?
And it really does vary by athlete. And so my philosophy, and I think Les supports this in Braveheart, in just the Braveheart umbrella program, my philosophy with off days is take them when you need them and schedule them in so that you don't fly too high. And so for you, in the past, solid couple blocks of training, if you look at your overall training stress, and the way I measure training stress is not only how you feel, how you sleep, how your mental energy in the morning, your stress levels in the morning. So I take all these subjective measures of how you're feeling and the feedback that you give me, which is really, really important. Also looking at your menstruation cycle, and that factors into it.
Yeah.
I have to take that into account because that will influence, because it influences your hormones, that will influence how you're feeling, that will influence how you recover, that influences nutrition. So I have
inflammation, all kinds of things.
All in sleep. I have to factor all of that in. I also look at travel. When is your next block of travel? Because I know you're going to California soon, and won't be able to train as such a structured environment as you do here.
Right.
So all of those subjective measures I have to take into consideration and take a long-term approach and take the micro approach and see how are you feeling day to day. Are you recovering from your workouts? Are you feeling your workouts properly? Are your hormones responding properly? And I measure that with sleep, overall mood, mental fatigue, energy, etc. So I take the subjective measures, and then I also look at the objective measures. And for objective measures, I use Training Peaks and I use WKO4, which calculates training stress. And if you look at the models of the graphs, you will see a nice little line that goes up and down by the day. So if you did it like an elliptical today, that's going to be less stress than if you did an hour run or the hill repeats last. So you will see up and down, almost like the stock market. You'll see an up and down trend all the way up. Eventually, that won't go in a linear progression. Eventually, you have to dip back down to allow your body to adapt to those changes. Because your training has been so, I wouldn't say marginal, but so gradual steps, that you're able to, within the week, recover from your workouts. It's not like we're drowning you in stress, in training stress.
No.
But within the week, I've built in recovery, be it through cross-training on the elliptical, through biking, through less intensive running days, through all of that, and making sure that you are getting those recoveries, and I'm seeing that you're adapting well. That's why I haven't given you an off day. If, though, you had been under a lot of stress, if you had been not getting enough sleep, or sick, if you had been complaining of mental fatigue or lethargy or just being moody, then that would have been indicators to me, whoa, we need to back off.
Right.
We need to schedule an off day.
And I guess it helps that you're, usually in the next room to know pretty much when and how I'm feeling.
But even if you weren't, let's say, for California, for example, we're going to have to communicate over Training Peaks and through text message, and that's what I've always done with my athletes. It is easier to see you in person, and when I was coaching in college, it was easier to see, John, you're not sleeping at all. You've got a term paper coming up this Saturday or this Friday. You're not working out today. Go home, get some sleep. You're not doing today's workout. And it's easier to see that in person because you see the bag under their eyes. And they're going to, kick and fuss, but
there's less room to hide.
There's no point in doing the workout if you're not able to recover from the workout. Sure. And that's something that we've been working on. And I try to work on with all my athletes is making sure that we are progressing, we're consistent, and we're managing stress, both emotionally, work, and family, but also the stress of
the workouts.
And that's, I think we've been doing really, really well, which is why you haven't been getting a lot of off days.
And to be clear, it's not like I was asking for off days, because if I was asking for off days, that would be an indicator in itself that I needed one. But it was more that I was getting feedback from other members of my health team that were saying, well, when are you having rest days? Because I guess kind of in the, general public, if you're training, there's always an expected off day in the, in a 7-week cycle. There's an off day usually, or the typical 3 days a week of working out. So just in terms of the kind of general population, there's this expectation that you get off days.
Right.
So what your approach is much more tailored to how I'm responding to what you're giving me, rather than let's prescribe you this off day regardless of if you need it or not, which I find really frustrating, to get an off day even if I'm feeling rearing to go. Like in the past when I've worked out and having off days, even when I wake up, wanting a workout, I think you should really take those, take those days when you're feeling like, God, I really wish I could run right now, but it's my rest day. Having a program where that is following your heart almost is a really good it's a really good design, because when you authentically feel like a rest day, you take one, and when you want to spend the day on a trail, you do it and you enjoy it, and that recharges your motivation. So I think that's really athlete led. I like it.
And there is a caveat, though. Yeah. And we were talking about this when we were talking about California. When you're going to California, it's like, oh, what is my training going to look like? And that week that you're in California, everything's going to be under an hour, and I want you to get outside.
Oh, yeah.
Because I want you to recharge outside. And another reason why I haven't given you a complete down week or complete recovery week is because I saw California on the future. I'm like, let's get a little bit extra stress before that trip, and then use that trip to recharge and allow you to go out and get on the trails of Northern California and enjoy it. And without having the pressure of, oh, I got to get this workout in. I got to go onto the station park. I have to get, go to the Y, get onto the station bike, or get onto the elliptical at the gym, which, you're in Northern California. You should use the resources there. And that's going to be, that's going to be your recharge. And also, we talked about how you don't travel too well. Both of us don't travel too well. We talked about this on previous episodes. It takes some adjustments for travel, especially for both of us. And so you're in your week away, you're going to have 2 or 3 days that you're not going to feel great. In which case you are really going to need to listen to your body and not overstress it when you're traveling. When you get back, though, we're going to start that gradual progression. So that this goes back to the not flying too high, because training is not a linear line. it's cyclical. You have to go up, and then you have to do a little correction, and then you have to go back. And I'm myself been working with Les with this, and it can be frustrating.
Oh, yeah.
But you do need those corrections to allow your body to fully adjust. But in the traditional model of 3 weeks on, 1 week off, or 2 weeks on, 1 week off, that doesn't work. For everyone, or for most athletes.
I'm sure there are people
it's a very conservative approach.
Yeah, it's a very cookie cutter
It's
approach.
very cookie cutter, and I don't like that. And with most of my athletes, some need an off day because of the stress of their work or the stress of their lifestyle,
or they're having a baby,
or they're having
whatever.
a baby. They need more recovery,
right?
And age also plays into that. Master athletes. If you are a coach who is coaching master athletes, you need to be fully aware that they're not going to recover as quickly from hard workouts.
Sure,
it's going to take 2 or 3 days versus a college athlete who's going to rebound the next day and want to hit the track again.
Yeah.
So you need to be very aware of how the athlete recovers, because it varies from athlete to athlete.
And it will vary within that athlete depending on their age, depending on their
life circumstances.
Yeah, or hormonal cycle, whatever.
And that's if you coach female athletes, you need to be aware of that hormone cycle.
Yeah.
And what it can do, especially with the fluctuations in estrogen, because estrogen does affect recovery.
Yeah.
And how in muscle recovery and also carbohydrate burn, you need to make sure that your program complements those monthly cycles.
Sure. Or pregnancy.
Or pregnancy. Oh, yeah. That's a whole different market. I haven't. I've yet to coach an athlete who's been pregnant, but that is another.
Yeah, because you can do it. You just have to do it safely, and you have to kind of take into consideration those unique circumstances.
But I agree with you. Having an off day just because you quote unquote should have an off day, it's a cookie cutter approach and doesn't always benefit you.
Yeah, like you're giving a dose of something they don't need when they don't need it, and when they do need it, you're not giving it to them.
And it really comes down to consistency. If that keeps you consistent in your training, then go for it.
Yeah.
But there are better ways, in my opinion, to make sure that you are consistently training without having to take a complete off day.
Yeah, especially for people who the rest days are frustrating at the best of times. If you just give them to them because it's that time of the week to give it to them, you're just frustrating your athlete unnecessarily, which I think just, creates a bit of a friction in the dynamic between the coach and the athlete.
But when those off days do come, dealing with that frustration, I think it's the coach's responsibility to say, we need this. Look at the training that we've done in the past couple of weeks.
This is part of training.
This is part of training.
Yeah.
We're going to recharge you, and the reason why we're taking the off day today is because, and then list out your reasoning, and then also say, but we're going to come back and we're going to do this, this, and this, and this.
Because it can feel for the athlete like you're being benched.
Yeah.
And I know it's not, but like if you've been going on this high of endorphins and just positivity and motivation, and then next day, you see the little couch icon on training feeds.
God, I hate that icon so much.
It's very anticlimactic. It's very kind of, oh, what did I do wrong? Like, why am I being benched?
And recovery days shouldn't be on the couch.
No,
yes, you should recover fully.
No. Yeah, that's why I hate that icon as well, because that's the last place you should be.
And I think a lot of people misconstrue recovery days with either not doing anything at all,
bed rest,
or doing everything, all the chores that they've left up until mowing the lawn, doing, vacuuming, doing all the laundry, doing all the dishes, painting the side of the house, all of those things. That's not recovery either.
No.
So my recovery days look very different from from other coaches, because I say, you're going to be doing resistance band training. You're going to be doing these stretches. I want you to sleep in. I want you to do a little bit of meditation. I want you to do some goal settings. What worked well for this past training block, and what are your goals for the next training block?
Maybe some stretching, maybe some yoga, maybe some
foam
rolling.
Your favorite.
Yeah.
But recovery days aren't couch days.
No, they are not bed rest days.
Even like on the Tour de France, they will go out for an hour easy ride just to turn over, as they say, the substrates.
Yeah.
Because they're going at such a high intensity. If they do take an off day, they'll gain like 5 pounds of water weight.
Right, because they're just so inflamed.
Mm-hmm.
So they got to work that out.
And that's part of recovery.
But they are a slightly different species.
Yeah, I'm not training you like a Tour de France athlete.
No, I hope not.
Nor 7 days of workouts of the WOD of the day, CrossFit style. I
don't have the personality.
If you were a CrossFitter, then if you were a CrossFitter or a Tour de France rider, we would be recovering a little bit. We're taking recovery. I wouldn't say differently, not more seriously, because we are taking recovery seriously, but we would be approaching it differently. Right. Anywho, that concludes this section, part one. We will be back in a jiff with Buy It or Bonk. And welcome back to the Racing Mindcast. We are on to part two, Buy It or Bonk. Tell us what we're going to review today.
You're going to say, tell the ladies and gentlemen what we have today. So we have Nugo's response to Lenny and Larry's cookies. I only saw 2 flavors. I saw double chocolate chip, and this, which we have, is dark chocolate chip cookie. So it's a chocolate chip cookie, essentially.
And we are in Canada, so we do get things a little late. So this is new to us.
Yeah, I'm assuming they're in the States by now. And it's vegan, gluten-free, non-GMO, just like the Lenny and Larry's. 16 grams of protein, just like the Lenny and Larry's. And pretty much the macros are exactly the same. And they do it by half cookie, which is ridiculous. So for half a cookie, it's 190 calories, which is pretty
high.
Pretty steep.
For how many grams? How many grams?
50 grams. So 100 grams is a whole cookie. It's like Pop-Tarts, where they have 2 Pop-Tarts and then they say per pastry. 8 grams of fat per half cookie. 23 grams of carbs per half cookie. 6 grams of fiber per half cookie.
Decent.
13 grams of sugar per half cookie, and 8 grams of protein per half cookie.
So to put this in context, it's 26 grams of sugar for the whole entire cookie and 380 calories for the whole cookie.
Yeah.
And how much fiber?
For the whole cookie?
Yeah.
12.
So 12 grams for the whole cookie. Wow. Yeah. So it's... Oh, thank you. Cookie. It's not the best of...
It's not the best solution.
It's not the best... it's a cookie.
Yeah.
It's a cookie.
It's a glorified protein cookie.
It's on par with gas station cookies as far as
it smells like a cookie.
It smells like a cookie too. It smells
like
fruity. It has like a fake chocolate smell to it.
Well, I doubt it's real chocolate because that would just be insane. Although I don't remember how much this was, so it could be...
Is it vegan?
It's kosher.
No.
It is vegan.
Mazel tov.
It is vegan.
Okay.
And always deliciously baked, they say. What do you think?
Tastes like a Lenny and Larry's cookie. It's thicker than a Lenny and Larry's cookie. It's less crumbly, which I like.
It's like a chewy chocolate chip cookie. Like, it is chewy. It's not a crisp cookie.
But just, it has the same consistency of a Chips Ahoy. Oh, I'm sorry. I should have shown you all back on the home. It's got the same consistency as a soft baked, chewy Chips Ahoy.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Which I like more than Lenny and Larry's.
It tastes like chocolate liqueur, though.
That's what I was saying with the smell.
It tastes a lot like what chocolate flavor tastes like, or Nesquik. It tastes like Nesquik.
Very watered down Nesquik.
Yeah, like hot chocolate mix.
Very watered down hot chocolate mix, because I would triple the serving size on that. All right, I've got my review.
I'm gonna start 4.
Really?
The chocolate chips are too strong for me.
All right, for texture, I'm gonna give it 2 points. Taste, I'm gonna give it 2 points. Macros, I'm gonna give it -1 point. So we're down. That's 2 and 2 minus 1. So we're down to 3. And because they put the 2 servings per cookie, I'm gonna give it another -1 point. So I'm gonna give it a 2. I'm gonna give it a 2.
Actually, yeah. I was trying to be generous. Yeah, 2 makes sense. It's
2. I'll give it a half point for being vegan. 2.5.
It's better than Lenny and Larry's, which is saying something. Given that they only have 2 flavors, that's kind of disappointing. But texture-wise, definitely is above Lenny and Larry's. Otherwise, it's about on par, which I don't like. So 2 makes sense. Or 2.5.
Yeah, 2.5 because it's vegan.
Fine, 2.5. C.
2.5.
C or D.
And bonk.
Bonk.
All right. that concludes Buy It or Bonk.
That was quick and efficient.
Yeah, quick and efficient. And we are going to be back with part 3, The Year of Fear. And welcome back to part 3, The Year of Fear. So just to warn you all, we are recording this ahead of time, so we actually haven't done the fear quite yet.
But they're scheduled.
But they are scheduled. So just a brief recap, I am the week before Halloween, so October 22nd, I'm going to have pizza, and you can read all about that.
Like a real pizza.
A real pizza, not lean cuisine. And you can read all about that. And then the week after that, I'm going to be training without my Garmin. Naked. And then the week after that, I'm going to do a repeat, and I am not going to weigh myself for a week.
Okay.
I have gotten into the habit of weighing myself daily, sometimes more than daily, just habitually. And it's starting to play with my mind, and I want to step back, and I want to not care about that for a whole week, which is going to be tough. Because it's part of my morning routine. Yep. And I'll go more into my morning routine in the blog post, but it's problematic, and I want to step away and see if I can do it. See if I can go with a week without weighing myself.
We might want to just take the scales out of the bathroom.
Yeah, I think that would be... She said scales, and she does mean plural.
Yes, we have more than one.
Yeah, that will be part of the blog post, so you'll find the reasoning there. But it's becoming an obsession, and I need to step away from that and... Reset. So I'm going to go a week without weighing myself.
Okay. I am going to do a workout naked as well.
Ooh.
This week, the week that you're not weighing yourself. So that'll be interesting as both you're my coach, so you won't necessarily... I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know if I'm going to have...
I think you're going to do it this is how I would recommend it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you off there. This is how I would recommend doing it. This is how I'm doing it. Is I've got on my Garmin, and you might have a new toy that week too. We'll see. You can set it to have, all these different metrics that have nothing to do with training. So you can do sunrise, you can do sunset, you can have time of day.
Just not looking at numbers the whole time.
And no notifications. No notifications, so no mile alerts, no heart rate alerts, no power alerts. So you're just looking at time with no notifications, even from your phone. And that's the way I would recommend doing it. Is record all the data so that I can see it.
You have it and I don't. Got it.
And that's what I'm doing with Les, is I'm showing it, but I'm recording it so that I can do post-workout analysis.
It's not dictating your workout.
Exactly. So that is going to be, that's your week of fear. That's going to be a good one. And that's going to be, just for all of those of you who are following at home, that is going to be the week of November let's see here. Oh, 1 second. Great podcasting here.
Yeah.
Well done, Mr. Haig.
Live scheduling.
Yes, that will be the week of November 6th. So, yeah. With that, I think that wraps up today's episode. Once again, please leave your comments below. Please subscribe. Please hit that like button. It really helps us out a lot. If you have any suggestions on what to review for Buy It or Bonk, or discussions about coaching, training, or whatever underneath the sun, just let us know and we will address them. You can do that in 2 ways. Leave a comment below or head over to braveheartcanada.com and leave us a comment and submit an email. With that, this week, don't forget to breathe.